Okay, and so now we're going to start the second part of our video here. We're going to multiply binomials together using distribution law. So we'll practice drawing and then get into our algebra. One thing to, let's go with our drawings. So when you're drawing them, you're going to do your multiplication grid. Choose which factor goes where. I will randomly choose x plus 1 here, and I will randomly choose x plus 4 here. So we have x plus 4 times x plus 1. Here we have a x times x, which gives us an x squared. And then we have x times 1, which gives us an x. Then we have x times 4, which gives us 4x's. And then we have 1 times 1, which gives us 1, 1, 1, 1. And so we have our answer. This is the rectangle that's formed. There's 1x squared. There's x's in 3 locations. So we have 4x here and 1x there. Gives us a total of 5x. And then we have plus 4 with the 4 1 tiles. Now remember that 5x was from the 4x plus the 1x. We combined them together. Okay, let's try that again. We're not going to do our expansion. We won't do that this year. Here we have x minus 1 times x plus 3, so let's draw that out. Here's x plus 3 rather. Truthfully though, like I said, I could put them in either spot, it would be just fine. Okay, and so what we have is we have x times the x plus 3. And that gives us an x squared and an x times 1, x times 1, x times 1. Then what we have is we have a negative 1 times an x plus 3. So each part of the first polynomial is multiplied by the second part. So just to show you the two different multiplications there, and those should all be shaded. I use different colors. So we have the red and the blue. And what do we have all together there? We have x squared, then we have a minus x, and we have a plus 3x, and then we have a minus 3. So altogether, when you combine your middle terms, we get x squared plus 2x minus 3. So that's our multiplication statement. X minus 1 times x plus 3 equals x squared plus 2x minus 3. Okay, let's try the next one. Drawing it. 2x minus 1, I'm just going to put here. Again, it could go on the top. It doesn't matter. That's the difference between 2 times 3 and 3 times 2. There is no difference. So it's exactly the same. 2x minus 3, so there's 1, there's 2, and then we go minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, shade them in for negatives. And so then we do our multiplication. So we have 2x times both parts. We have 2x times, oops, this should be not shaded, my bad. We have 2x times 2x, which gives us 4x squareds. And then we have 2x times negative 3, which gives us negative, well, these are all shaded, right? It gives us a negative 6x. So if you want, if you have lots to draw, what you could do, you could cheat a little bit, especially if you have large numbers. You could just write in there negative 6x. And then we know that that's negative 6x. And here we have negative 1. Okay, I'll use blue pen for this one. Negative 1 times both parts. And so we get shaded negative, we get negative 2x. And this part here, it's a negative times a negative, so negative 1 times negative 3 gives us plus 3. Now if I want, I could go and switch this one as well, and I could do just writing the numbers in there, and that would be negative 2x. So what we see is we see 4x squareds, negative 2x, negative 6x, plus 3. And the pattern is to always get two terms that get combined at the very end. Okay? So, moving into doing this without tiles, what we really had when we had 2x minus 1, okay, let me just draw this here. This is red, 2x. And then let's use minus 1, we'll do blue. Okay. And then over here we had 2x minus 3. So when we did the multiplication, what we did is we took the 2x and we multiplied by both parts there. That's the distribution law. So we could write that as 2x times 2x minus 3. So technically, that's exactly what's happening. And the second part of the multiplication then is the negative 1 times both parts, 2x minus 3. So the distribution law tells us that we have both parts, the 2x and the negative 1, both get multiplied by the 2x minus 3. And so this is another way of writing it. So when we're doing this without algebra tiles, we could go, this could turn into x times x plus 3 and plus 2 times x plus 3. So this is one way of showing your work. By showing this algebraically, use your arrows to help track your multiplication. Optional, but very, very helpful in tracking where you are. And then the 2 times the x is 2x, 2 times 3 is plus 6. Here you can see your two terms that must combine. So the last step will be to collect like terms. There you go. So that's one way of showing your work, okay, by using the distribution. Another way of showing your work is what we sometimes refer to as FOIL. Okay, it's just a way of doing distribution law quickly without writing out the long way. So what you're going to do is multiply your first terms. Okay. So you multiply x times x and you get x squared. Then what you would do is you multiply your outside terms. So the outside would be x times minus 4, negative 4x. Then you multiply your inside terms. So it would be negative 5 times x. And then you multiply your last terms in the brackets. So the last terms in each brackets get multiplied, and so that's going to be negative 5 times negative 4, negative 20. Combine your middle terms always, so negative 9x minus 20. Okay, so FOIL is just a cheap acronym, mnemonic rather, of this. That's really what you need to know. That's the important part there. So, because this is a clear representation of what's happening with our brackets. It's more explicitly said. I can go in and fill in the multiplication statement, my bad. 2x minus 1 times 2x minus 3, those are our factors, equals our product of 4x squared minus 8x plus 3. Okay, let's do it one more time here now. So I'm going to do the distribution law because I like that so much better. It's just more concise for me. So x times both parts, x minus 5, and then plus 8 times both parts. And sometimes, in fact, all the time, I use my arrows to help track my multiplication. So technically, that's the proper way of rewriting it. So then multiply in x squared minus 5x plus 8x minus 40. Altogether, collect like terms, plus 3x minus 40. And what's interesting to note for tomorrow or the next couple of days is that the plus 8, the 8 is the larger digit and it's positive. And so our final sum when we combine like terms is also positive because it's got to match the term of the larger digit. That's just something we're going to build on. Now what happens if our signs are different? Well, it's important to see that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this, but I'm just going to use my arrows. So it's going to be like a combination of FOIL using your arrows as well as distribution. So x times x is x squared. X times plus 5 is plus 5x. Negative 8 times x would be negative 8x. And negative 8 times plus 5 would be negative 40. Combine like terms. This time I'm going to get a negative 3x minus 40. And it's interesting to note that this is negative because the larger digit between the 8 and the 5, the larger digit is negative. That's why my sum is negative. Okay, so you should be able to go do your homework now, the last part of the worksheet, multiplying in your binomials. So a binomial is two terms with times two terms. Okay, so multiplying binomials would be two terms in your brackets, okay, times two terms. That is a binomial times a binomial. All right, good luck. Off to your homework now.